Hey, everybody, welcome to Friar Territory, part of the Fel Territory Network. I am Darren Smith. That is Marty Caswell. We are not where we normally broadcast from because both Marty and I have decided, since neither one of us have air conditioning, I've checked into a hotel and Marty's just going to sleep at Petco Park so she can be there bright and early for the introductory press conference of Jose E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones. Do I have that right? This is Friar Territory beating the heat.
Yes, that's exactly it, Darren. You and I are not in someone's kitchen. Usually, we're in our mother's kitchen when we're doing this show. Our last show, we were accused of being too soft on this Padres because we did not overreact to a series loss to the woeful New York Mets. But yeah, a lot going on right now, and we have found the air conditioning because, like Fernando Tatis, Darren, San Diego is on fire. It is blazing right now. Everywhere.
It is the heat advisory. Yes, I realize that in other parts of the country it is triple digits and people laugh at us moaning on about the fact that we are living with this heat dome while we can, but we are just not built for this.
No.
So I'm not even kidding when I say I've checked into a hotel just so I can enjoy some air conditioning. But Marty, you are right. It is the right segue. The Padres are hot. It is back-to-back sweeps at Petco Park. It is 8 straight at Petco Park. Padres whipped out the Minnesota Twinkies, who came into town in possession of a wild card spot in the American League, and instead it was the Padres who improved their positioning. They are 11 games over 500, and I bring that up because the last time they were 11 games over 500, we have to go all the way back to May 18th. And
wow.
We might remember this because we remember that the Padres sort of sunk like a stone from where they were at their high water mark. So they have gotten back to their highest total of games over 500, 11 games over 500 for the second time. And let's see where it goes. This team right now is 22-12 in the second half of the season. I mentioned the way they're playing at home against the Twins, the way they played against the Brewers. You can see the standings here if you're watching Friar Territory on YouTube. Padres 71-60. They have a 2-game lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, give them credit, have not completely capitulated. They are 69-62, despite whatever it is that's happening with Ketel Marte. They did take 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. Up next, the Chicago Cubs. Feels like a pretty impactful series. The Padres will play the Pirates, who you might be able to see all the way at the bottom of this graphic because they're still technically in the hunt. I included them there just to be generous.
That was nice of you.
We play the Pirates.
Are they in the hunt? Are the Pirates really in the hunt? They get swept by the Dodgers, and there's talk that they should shut down Paul Skeens, who's been struggling. Who, by the way, I believe is set to face Michael King on Tuesday. Are they really in the hunt? If they were in the American League, they would absolutely be in the hunt. That's a completely different story. But I think now in this National League, there's a bit of separation. The teams that we expect to be there towards the end. The Phillies, of course, at the top, the second seed in the wild card. Padres, D-backs to the bitter end, Darren.
I would say that the Pirates are probably looking at a series against the Padres as our last
chance, our best last chance. Yeah.
Like if we can't get something going here and going on some sort of run against the San Diego Padres, so we are looking up at in the standings, then it probably isn't in the cards for us. So again, I generously included them there in that graphic.
That was nice.
Because
nice
that
of you.
was my cutoff point. I didn't go any deeper. But Marty, from this past weekend, Padres 6-2 on Friday night. Randy Vasquez was allowed to pitch the first inning. He was allowed to pitch from the start of the game, which was just incredible decision making there from Craig Stammen and the San Diego Padres. They had the comeback there. Minnesota Twins were certainly very generous in their giving catcher interference and errors in the seventh inning there. The Padres come from behind after trailing 5-1. They win 7-5. And then on Sunday, the day game there, Walker Buehler does it again. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a skipping record here because I've probably exhausted myself on my Walker Buehler takes. But
No. This is a Walker Buehler fan appreciation sort of show, Darren. And you said before that he has been sneaky underappreciated. It's easy to go ahead and look what other guys are doing in this rotation, but Walker Buehler, man, 3 straight quality starts, man. He has been a very important cog of consistency in the Padres rotation. He really has.
And especially when you think about his start on Sunday with the only blemish of the weekend is what happened with Casey Mize, who twisted an ankle Saturday night walking down those treacherous bullpen steps So we'll have to wait and see what the future looks like there for Casey Mize, unless I've missed an update, which I might have since
He
you're
was
still
in
at
a
Petco Park on
Darren,
Sunday.
I saw him, he was in a walking boot after the game, but he said it was more precautionary because he was getting ready to go ahead and walk to his car, want to make sure nothing else happens. A little bit of swelling, but he seems to be rather optimistic, day by day thing. Of course, having the extra off day on Thursday, Darren, is a bonus, but it doesn't sound to me, just based on what we're hearing, and things could change as we know by Monday, but it doesn't sound like he misses one start, but I'd be surprised if this is an IL situation. If it is, though, you have a little, you have maybe Joe Musgrove making one more rehab start on Tuesday, and we'll see after that. But it looked terrible at that time, but so far some good news on Casey Mize.
Mm-hmm. And you do have the benefit of some off days again,
Yeah.
and it's really the right time of the year to see good performances from Randy Vasquez and continued good performances from Walker Buehler. So these are coming at the right time. Walker Buehler has 8 wins, Marty. I mean, he might end up with I know pitchers wins and losses. I get it. You don't need to lecture me. But he might end up with 10 wins this year.
Yep.
That might not matter to people out there who follow baseball, but it does matter to the pitchers. To be back in the double-digit win column potentially for Walker Buehler has to feel incredibly satisfying for him to be a contributor on this team. And his manager certainly sang his praises afterwards. Walker Buehler knows a thing or two about postseason success. Fortunately, some of that came at the hands of the Padres. But he does know a thing or two about postseason success. And I was glad to hear that Craig Stammen talked about him as somebody who's lived through it all a couple of times, having that aura that the Padres are searching for this year.
Aura. I like what you said. Aura.
Yeah, he's been pitching the ball, ever since the All-Star break. He needed that little breather, and ever since then he's kind of, been the Walker Buehler that we saw in the month of June and kind of who we've seen in the past. But I think he smells the postseason. That's one thing that's like part of his career, is being a part of that every single year. So he smells that. He knows the team needs some quality starts. He also sees the other starters doing really well, and I think internally that motivates him, and he's just been able to make a lot of really good pitches here lately. What do you make of it?
He can smell it. He can smell the postseason, the smell, Darren, of October. That's the kind of guy.
You're at the press box. Can you smell it?
You can feel like a wave of fire coming at you, but yeah, you can smell it. You can especially smell it, Darren, when it's Fernando Tatis doing MVP sort of things right now. I mean, Walker Buehler had the greatest comment his last start when we talked to him in San Diego, and he said, it's not how you play in April and May. It's how you're playing down this stretch. This month into September, this how you play now carries a lot more weight. And nothing smells like postseason, Darren, like a deep run, than watching Tatis do what he's doing. It's ridiculous right now. Absolutely ridiculous. This guy had homerless for 2 months. He has, 17 home runs right now. I mean, the back of his baseball card is going to look very, very familiar when this season's done. It just feels different when that guy is carrying this team. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Again, I remind everybody that there were some out there who tried to convince themselves that the singles hitting second baseman Fernando Tatis Jr. was actually having a good season, when in fact now he really wasn't so much doing. We much prefer this version of him, is where I'm going with this. And you are right. I mean, he has now become back to the human highlight reel Fernando Tatis Jr.
Ridiculous.
Of course, Marty, as we're talking about this, everybody feels great. Padres just swept the Minnesota Twins. Mm-hmm. Padres are on a nice run at home. They bounced back nicely after beating the Mets. But by the time people watch this or listen to this, and you can subscribe on YouTube, obviously, you can subscribe wherever it is that you get your audio podcasts, you might be listening to this after new ownership is introduced at a press conference on Monday. And Marty was around the clubhouse over the weekend, and she asked some of the key San Diego Padre players for some thoughts. And we're going to hear what they had to say when we come back. Fernando Tatis Jr. spoke about this. Manny Machado spoke about this. Joe Musgrove spoke about this. So if you're curious, what is it like in the clubhouse as fans have anticipation for new ownership with Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano? What do the players think? Well, we're going to find out when we return. Friar Territory continues next.
People, dehydration sucks. Quince electrolyte stick packs to the rescue. I order them. I use them all of the time.
Listen, as somebody who may or may not have had some adult beverages in their life, the next day, you know what flavor I like? Watermelon. And I don't like watermelon, I'll go raspberry, and it helps me to get my citrus salt in. But if I do, It helps me to get back to normal, feeling good, and ready to go the next day.
Yep, tough workout or dry mouth in the morning, whatever it is, this is going to help you out. Quince always has the best deals for you. You can go on their website and see a number of products. We're talking about not only a product that tastes great, but has zero sugar options that are also stevia free. Give your body what it really needs to stay hydrated. Go to quince.com/foul for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FOUL for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/foul. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome back to Friar Territory. Darren Smith, Marty Caswell. And coming up on Monday, it is the official beginning of a new era of San Diego Padre baseball, as they will welcome in new ownership represented by Kwanza Jones and Jose E. Feliciano. The T's have been crossed, the I's have been dotted, and all that's really left, Marty, is for us to actually hear from them. We have not heard much from them. We've heard a bit about them, although even that seems to be a bit scattershot. Doesn't seem like everybody has a firm read on who they are. They live a mostly private life, from what I gather, even when they're in the public spotlight, as Jose E. Feliciano is, the co-owner of a very valuable private equity company, and also involved in a couple of other pro sports franchises, pro soccer in London and in France. They seem to mostly keep a very, very low profile. So this will be the first time a lot of us have the opportunity to literally hear their voices,
Right.
and to interact with them. And they do have an opportunity to make a good first impression on the city of San Diego, not by what they say in carefully crafted press releases, but how they present themselves to the Padres organization and also to the Padres fans. And you were around the clubhouse this weekend, so you had a chance to ask some of the players what it is they think about their new incoming ownership group.
Okay, let's start with Joe Musgrove, Darren, of course, who is a native San Diegan and would have a very good, interesting take on this. How exciting is this time of year, just with what's ahead for this team, and also having your new players introduced on Monday?
Yeah, nice to have that, wrapped up and finalized. Really excited to hear from. I think we've all been excited to see what the message is going to be and the direction. We've seen, a few reports, some through you guys and some just on, the Twitter world about their plans to spend some money and really pour into the organization. So, talk is one thing, but we'll see the actions from them here soon. I think we're all just really excited to meet them and see what they're all about.
Is that really all you ask from an owner, just to be invested, try and give a team the best chance to win?
Yeah, I always have a hard time telling someone else how to spend their money, but I can't assume you'd spend that kind of money and get into this kind of business without, some kind of desire or passion to win. I think everyone in this organization, in this city, in this clubhouse has put a lot of effort into getting where we're at, and this organization in the last 10 years has improved drastically, in terms of production on the field and how we perform, but how things are run and the culture of the clubhouse and the culture of the organization as a whole. So you don't want to see that stuff go away, and I think sometimes when you disengage or step away from, the intent to go win and improve the organization, some of that stuff naturally, falls apart. So players, we just, you have such a small window in the game that you would love an opportunity to compete for championships and have a good caliber team and an organization that supports and stands behind the players. So I think they understand what's been built here and what they were getting into when they took this over. So I would hope that they would kind of, be in the mode of wanting to improve and looking for the best options to make the team better.
Talk is cheap. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's so much about money as it is what are your intents? Like, what is your intent here? Like, what are you all about? Because I remember Joe Musgrove, whether it was on Friar Territory or whether it was during spring training, at some point at some media session, he talked about ownership. And obviously where Major League Baseball is going with the players' union and ownership is sort of the overarching theme here, right? But we do remember he said a lot of these owners treat these franchises like they're ATM machines. And unfortunately, that is true. It happens all across baseball. So I would use words like cautious, cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Hopeful from Joe Musgrove. I think he is definitely taking a wait and see attitude, to your point. It doesn't sound like he's ready to just say, Okay,
Oh yeah,
here
these
they
are we
come through
know.
the
Can't
door.
wait. Yeah, yeah.
Let us throw rose petals and confetti. It sounds like he needs to hear a little bit and interact with them, because it doesn't sound like he's really had that experience.
Right there, and there isn't much out there. And I know that you had that conversation, Darren, with one of the Chelsea correspondents, and they're very, very private individuals, and people who have talked to you in the organization seem to think that they're gonna keep a low profile. I don't know that we're gonna see, like, I would see Peter Seidler walking around the ballpark, walking around games and spring training, walking around downtown San Diego. I don't know that they're gonna have that sort of profile. I don't know that we're gonna strike up a conversation. I don't know if you're gonna see pictures of these players, ownership hugging players as cozy as they were. You would see Peter Seidler, hugging with Luis Ariz or Manny Machado or Xander Bogaerts or Tatis. I don't know what kind of relationships they're going to forge with these players. So, and these guys don't know either. They really don't know what to expect. So, I think they have as many questions as we do. So we'll find out very, very soon.
Speaking of that, probably the player who had the closest relationship with Peter Seidler was Manny Machado. And you also had a chance. Joe Musgrove's not far away.
Yeah.
It was pretty common. It was pretty well known. There were a handful of players that had a direct line to Peter Seidler. Mm-hmm. And one of them was Joe Musgrove. Yu Darvish was another.
Yeah.
And probably nobody more so than Manny Machado. So here's what Manny Machado had to say over the weekend about the incoming ownership group.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean, I think, get this past us already and, start this new journey. Obviously, Peter was a big part of me coming here and a big part of this organization for a very long time. And unfortunately, things happened the way they did. But, we're excited to meet this new, me, Jose, and Kwanza and start the relationship and see what they have for the future for San Diego.
Where's it you're hoping to see?
I mean, it's still, those are conversations that, myself and them will have, and obviously with the organization as well. And hopefully at the end of the day, it's what I've always thought about is what's best for the Padre organization. And, trying to always put this organization at its best, whether it's clubhouse, players, field, whatever it is going to take to, make us perform better, play better, and be a better organization overall from top to bottom. I think what's most important.
18 games.
It's interesting when Manny Machado was talking about the clubhouse. One might remember just a couple of years ago that Manny Machado and Peter Seidler literally jumped on an airplane together and flew to Denver, Colorado to go look at the Colorado Rockies home clubhouse, because they were thinking about remodeling the Padres clubhouse, and the Rockies clubhouse had a reputation for being one of the better ones in Major League Baseball. So the two of them and a handful of other people, I don't think any other players, flew to Denver. I mean, that's not normal. And I think one thing also, Marty, that you could say, and as Manny's saying that, I'm listening to this, Manny says, we're excited to meet them and find out what they're all about. Let us just toss this out here. I don't know this to be the case, but it is certainly possible that those two players in particular might not have any relationship with this new owner. I mean, it is possible, because there are owners in baseball that don't have any relationship with players. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to have any relationship with players, because a lot of people, and you might, just hypothesize somebody that comes from the private equity world, might not want to have a personal connection with somebody who he might have to make a business decision on. Now, I'm not saying I know that to be the case, but I don't know that it's not going to be the case either. There is a chance that this new ownership group will not want to have personal relationships with these players, which is going to be a lot different. And it might not be bad. I'm just saying it's going to be different.
Yes. Again, a great unknown. Like, I think they've met him in passing. I think he was with the Mexico. They were that one game here, Darren, at Petco Park a couple months ago, right, when they were ushered out. And I think John A. Tripp got from NBC had the footage. And then they were in the suite with Eric Grupner during the Mexico series. But I think they've exchanged a handful of just quick text here or there. But I don't think anyone really knows them. So. And my understanding is they're going to...
Maybe they're texting, maybe they're
maybe,
not. I mean,
kind of, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe they have to get to know the new owner via LinkedIn. Nobody really knows the answer to this, because it might be a totally different dynamic, which, again, I'm not saying is good, bad. It's just different.
Okay.
And, for the guys that signed here, listen, Joe Musgrove is well compensated. Manny Machado... is incredibly well compensated.
Yes.
And a lot of that was due to his personal relationship with Peter Seidler. Let's just put the cards on the table. We know that was the case. We know that Manny Machado had the ability to call the former owner who he had this personal relationship with, and he was able to go straight to him over his president of baseball operations head when it came time to talk about a contract extension. The owner told you directly that he was going to be involved personally with the re-signing of Manny Machado before the 2023 season. That's going to be different. Again, it's just going to be different. And I think for these guys, part of the allure of playing for the Padres was that they did have that connection.
That's
Those
a family.
guys at the top of the pyramid
Yeah.
did have that connection with Peter Seidler.
Well,
And
think
it's
about
just to
this.
be determined whether they will or won't with these new owners.
Darren, think about Fernando Tatis saying that when he was suspended, the lowest of the low for him in his career, Peter Seidler flew out to go to meet with him, and changed everything for him. So he created like more of a family dynamic, fatherly dynamic, and I don't know that happens with private equity ownership. We'll find out what's going to be his passion. Is baseball his passion, or is baseball his business? Is it another notch in the belt sort of thing? We'll find out. I don't know.
I mean,
because
and
it's been run.
again,
Peter ran it as a passion. It's completely different.
I think
And you want to
there'll
make
be
money
plenty
too.
I think there are plenty. Yeah, I mean, they did okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they did all right on
Okay.
their way out the door. But I mean this, and I don't want it to sound, because I think there are plenty of people that would watch this and that would listen to this and they would say, yeah, kind of, one of the problems, maybe one of the flaws, if you were to identify some flaws of Peter Seidler is that he did have personal connections with some of these players, and maybe it influenced some of the decision making in ways that maybe long term might be viewed as less than beneficial. But again, feels like a weird time to talk about it because the team's 71-60 and everything's firing on all cylinders. But it's not you and me; it's them. You can kind of hear it in their voices, right?
They don't know.
I also think too there is a sentiment, and it'll be curious to hear if it comes up during the press conference that this was a rather drawn out process, and there's some theories floating around in the ether as to why it is that this was drawn out, why this took a little bit longer than people had anticipated. Maybe that comes up during the press conference or not. I don't have anything firmly that I would share with you. It's just some theories out there that this thing took a little longer, and there's some hypotheses why. So maybe that got back to the players, right? Remember Manny not too long ago saying, "What is taking so long?
I haven't heard from him in a while. What's going on?" Yeah.
What is going on?
We'll find
here?
out.
So there was some delay here for some reason, and again, I don't know that we'll ever actually know, but there are plenty of theories that are floating out there. When we come back, we'll hear what Fernando Tatis Jr. has to say about this as well. I mean, Fernando,
The hottest man in baseball, baby. Hot, 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 hot. Sizzling. Wow.
how many hots was that?
That was about 10.
10 hots.
10 hots. Smoking.
Hot times 10, man. Yeah, hot times 10.
You know what, Harry?
Fernando Tatis Jr.
I did ask him in post game, what's hotter right now, the San Diego, you or the weather? He said it was the weather. I don't know, man. Tatis is pretty hot right now. It's like 88 at first pitch. Oh, disgusting.
That's nothing.
It is. It is for me. See my hair?
Well,
It was straight
every
earlier
once in
today.
a while, Marty, you can travel east of the 5 freeway. It gets a little worse when you go over that direction here, and you don't have those the oceanic breezes trying to cool things off here in our heat dome. All right, Fernando Tatis Jr. when we come back on Friar Territory. Well, Marty, there's lots of things hot right now in San Diego. The weather, Fernando Tatis Jr. The Padres are hot at Petco Park. Another sweep, another home series coming up, just a handful of games, 31 to go. Not many more of them at Petco Park. If you want to go to one of these games, you can see it every single night, 40,000 people. You got to go to SeatGeek. Download this app. There's all sorts of events there, sporting events, concerts, football's right around the corner. And know this, SeatGeek is the official MLB ticket marketplace, so your tickets are guaranteed. They'll grade the tickets for you. Green, great deal. Red, stay away unless absolutely necessary. SeatGeek is a must-have for all of the sports fans listening.
Darren, 15 games left at Petco Park in the regular season. You know that final series versus the D-backs, that's going to be the hot ticket in town. Do not wait until the last minute because you want to watch a celebration. Go to SeatGeek right now to get your tickets. They've got you covered. The #1 ticketing app for a reason.
Millions and millions of people can't be wrong. And of course, we have a code for you guys. Use the code Territory10, 10% off all MLB tickets on SeatGeek. You can see it there. Scan the code. You'll have this 10% added right there to your account when you download the app. Thank you, SeatGeek. All right, welcome back to Friar Territory, part of the Foul Territory Network. It'll be Robbie Ray, Michael King, and Randy Vasquez. That's who's lined up against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do I have that wrong? Does ESPN have that wrong?
Oh, I don't know. I think when I was checking it, MLB earlier, it said TBD, but I think TBD has been Randy Vasquez, and why not? He's been so good recently. You know, as Craig Stammen said, as Manny says, he feels like he has something to prove. Randy's saying all the right things. I'll pitch wherever they put me. Dude, he wants to start. And he's making a case for himself.
Yes. Well, good. I'm glad, because I feel like I was the only one that was making this case. This was stupid with the opener stuff with him. He's not one of these other guys. Come on, he should be there in the first inning. Anyhow, we'll see. Joe Musgrove, at least when everybody left Petco Park on Sunday, was scheduled for another rehab appearance. But again, the big news, and it takes just absolute massive news to really bump off the way the Padres are playing and how hot Fernando Tatis Jr. is. But it is, Padre ownership, because I don't know if you've heard this before, but ownership kind of matters. And so this will happen on Monday, Marty. I think it's 1:00 on local time that these two, that the two owners will be introduced and they will speak, and nobody really knows what to expect. Marty will be there, so we'll have a complete recap for you here on Friar Territory. So stick around.
They'll be there. I'm sure a bunch of the players are going to be there in attendance as well, Darren, because normally the Padres clubhouse opens like an hour later. But my understanding is after they answer our dopey questions, they will then be addressing the team, and I'm sure a good majority of them will be hearing and speaking with them for the very first time. So that will be interesting as well.
Do you think, Marty, are they going to win the press conference? It's always such a stupid phrase. Anyway, listen, I guess you kind of can and you can't lose it, but does it really matter? I'm not so sure. So Fernando Tatis Jr., who probably will be the National League Player of the Week, he also spoke after the game. Marty talked a little bit about his performance, talked a little bit about the weather. I think not only watching Fernando do Fernando Tatis Jr. things in the batter's box, in right field, not only is that fun, but seeing the joyous Fernando Tatis Jr., and also hearing a little bit of his thoughts on what's happening with ownership. Let's push play here on Fernando Tatis Jr. speaking Sunday afternoon.
How excited are you to go ahead and meet the new owners tomorrow and have them speak to you?
I'm really happy for him. They made the right purchase, and obviously. But man, they're coming in at the right time. We're in a great spot as a team, as a community, as San Diego overall. It's beautiful to see what's happening over here in San Diego. So them checking in, and I know they're going to be on board for whatever's going to be the best for the city. Can't wait for our ride together is going to look like.
Have you met these guys yet?
Yeah, we shook hands before and we talked briefly, but they seem like great person.
Yeah, you like them?
I do. I better. No, but I do.
What do you think of the impression that you're making on them right now, the way you guys are playing?
We're showing them what they're capable of, and especially this is a baseball city, this is a baseball town, so hopefully everybody's on the same track to what we have been building this last couple.
Sorry, I cut it off at the end. What we're
Once
building
again,
here.
We should remind everybody that Fernando Tatis Jr. is contractually obligated to do every single press session with his shirt off.
Yes. But Darren, you want that because a shirt off usually means a good result. If he's bundled up, something bad happens. So we want a shirtless Tatis.
I think he's done plenty of 0 for 4 press conferences with his shirt off.
But sitting down.
Yes.
Standing, shirtless, a good result. 4-hit game, 2 home runs, shirtless. No one's complaining.
Nobody's complaining. Yeah. Okay. So again, Fernando seems to suggest there that he's had some interaction with the incoming owners, which is good. Fernando, who I think can, he can say some forgettable stuff, but he also can be a little charming, and I think he was quite charming there when he talked about they're buying in at the right time, and sort of joking that I better say nice things about them. He does have a little bit of charm to him when he wants to say stuff, and oftentimes he just doesn't want to say anything. No offense. But just sort of the process of, the means to the end of getting people like Marty to walk away. But, I think he can be, and I thought he was pretty charming there. And, who knows? Maybe this ownership group will have a new favorite player. I mean, maybe it'll be somebody other than Manny Machado. I don't know. Again, because we know the previous owner definitely had a direct connection with one player more than the other players in that clubhouse. But maybe the new ownership group, Marty, will have a new favorite son.
How are they not entertained? As Tatis captioned out in his triumphant return to Twitter, how are they not entertained watching this dude put on a show? And just imagine you're walking up there tomorrow and you're going to shake hands with an NL Player of the Week and the guy who is sizzling and will help carry you, hopefully, into the postseason.
By
the
the
new
way,
poster
if
boy, the
I'm
San Diego Padres.
Incoming owners here, and I'm watching Friar Territory. I'm like, well, at least one of these guys is completely unbridled with his enthusiasm about us coming through the door. The other guys are kind of like, I don't know.
We'll see. I don't know what's happening.
Break. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe that's unfair to try to sort of summarize how these guys are feeling. I don't know. Maybe everybody's super stoked and excited because if nothing else, Marty, at least the limbo period is over and everybody can move forward. So
once they hear from them, once they hear from them again, I think the owners will address the players tomorrow. Then hopefully we'll get a much better idea of whatever their intentions are, whatever message they're delivering. I don't know that we're going to get that message in the presser, but hopefully the players will hear what they want to hear. And we'll see what happens. And then we'll see some results moving forward. We'll see. Interesting times, man. Interesting time for the Padres. Playing their best baseball of the season, and the ownership limbo is finally over. It's been a process. It's been almost 2 years, right? Nearly 2 years on this. It's been kind of crazy.
Let's keep the vibes moving in the right direction.
I agree.
Yeah, you don't want everybody walking out of that meeting after the press conference tomorrow like,
what was that? What did they say? Maybe Tatis will walk in shirtless for the presser.
I would. I mean, they're like, wow, we got a hawkish owner here now. What's that all about? I mean, it might, who knows? Nobody knows, right? We're heading into a really, really curious time for baseball's ownership and its relationship with its players association. So it's anybody's guess exactly how it is that this ownership group will align itself. Mm-hmm. But we will, the good news is we will have our answers for better or for worse coming up on Monday, and keep your fingers crossed that it is for better, whatever that means. I don't know. Could mean something different to me, to Marty, to people listening, to people that are watching. So thank you very much. Friar Territory, you can be found on YouTube. Please subscribe. Give us a good review. Add a comment.
Add a comment. We'll respond. Darren's great on responding on YouTube comments. Really good at it.
Yes. Well, now that I'm in air conditioning for the next 14 hours, I have plenty of time to answer YouTube comments.
All right.
So
fantastic.
Fire away, everybody. For Marty Caswell, I'm Darren Smith. We'll see you next time on Friar Territory.